Okay, hello everyone. My name is Anindita Zahra Paradhista, and in this video, I'm going to review a novel called Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Pride and Prejudice is a classic romance novel written by Jane Austen. It was first published in 1813. This novel is written in English and belongs to the genres of romance and social fiction. The story is set in England during the Regency era, mainly in Hertfordshire, Rosings Park, and Pemberley. The main publisher of the edition I read is Penguin Books, and the novel has around 61 chapters depending on the edition. This novel tells the story of the Bennet family, which consists of five daughters, because their family is that can't be inherited by women. Mrs. Bennet is very focused on finding wealthy husbands for of her daughters, hoping they will have financial security in the future. The story begins when Mr. Charles Bingley, a rich and kind young man, moves to Netherfield Park. His arrival creates excitement in the neighborhood, especially for the Bennet family. Bingley quickly becomes interested in Jane Bennet, the eldest Bennet sister, and their relationships develops quite smoothly. At the same time, Elizabeth Bennet meets Mr. Darcy, Bingley's close friend. However, their first meeting doesn't go well. Darcy appears distant, proud, and unfriendly, which makes Elizabeth dislike him immediately. Her negative opinion becomes stronger after she hears a misleading story about Darcy from George Wickham, who seems kind and trustworthy at first. As the story continues, misunderstanding between Elizabeth and Darcy grow. Elizabeth becomes convinced that Darcy is a bad person who ruined Wickham's life and also separated Jane and Bingley. Meanwhile, Darcy secretly starts to develop feelings for Elizabeth, even though he struggles with expressing himself. The climax happens when Darcy unexpectedly proposes marriage to Elizabeth, but she strongly rejects him. She criticizes his personality and accuses him of being responsible for many problems. After this rejection, Darcy writes her a letter explaining the truth behind Wickham's lies and his real reasons for separating Jane and Bingley, which were actually based on concern, not cruelty. After reading the letter, Elizabeth slowly begins to realize that she has judged Darcy unfairly. She starts questioning her own prejudice and understands that her first impression of him was wrong. Her feelings and understanding of Darcy begin to change. The situation becomes more serious when Lydia Bennet, Elizabeth's young sister, runs away with Wickham. This creates a huge scandal that could damage the entire Bennet family's reputation. Unexpectedly, Darcy helps solve the problem secretly by making sure Wickham marries Lydia, without asking for any credit. In the end, Elizabeth fully realizes Darcy's true character, like he's actually kind, responsible, and honorable. Darcy proposed to her again, and this time Elizabeth accepts him. Jane Bennet also reunites with Bingley, and both couples eventually get married, bringing the story to a happy ending. And the main character of this novel is Elizabeth Bennet. She is intelligent, independent, and has strong personality. Elizabeth is also very confident in her judgments and opinions. She enjoys reading, thinking critically, and expressing her view openly. And other important characters are Jane Bennet, Carlos Bingley, Mrs. Bennet, Mr. Bennet, Lydia Bennet, George Wickham, Charlotte Lucas, and Lady Catherine de Bourgh. The main theme of this novel is romance. The story focuses on the romantic relationship between Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy. The novel Pride and Prejudice gives several important moral lessons that are still relevant today. First, it teaches us not to judge other people based on first impressions, because our initial assumption can be wrong. Second, it shows the importance of personal growth, where individuals are able to reflect on their mistakes and become better over time. The story also emphasized that character, honesty, and integrity are more important than wealth or social status in building meaningful relationships. In addition, it highlights that healthy relationships should be based on mutual respect, understanding, and good communication between both sides. And my personal opinion is I really enjoy reading Pride and Prejudice novel because I already watched the movie before I read the novel. I like historical romance stories, especially the ones set in the Regency era. The setting, social life, and the relationship between the characters make the story really interesting. After reading it, I felt like the novel gives way more detail than the movie, especially about the characters' thought and feeling. Even though some parts in the film were simplified, I think the 2005 version was still really good, and the casting fits the characters well. It also got around to 80 per 10 on IMDb, so it was pretty well received. Another thing I like is the message. It reminds us not to judge people too quickly and to try to understand others better. It also shows that respect and personal growth matter in relationships. Overall, it's not just a romance story, I guess, but also a story with good lessons. One thing I noticed too is the language is quite formal and a bit hard sometimes, probably because it's set in the Regency era, where people talk very politely and properly. That actually makes the novel feel more classic. Maybe that's all the review from me. Thanks for watching. Bye.